Welcome back. In this short video, I'll be installing the uppermost topside batten on the port side. Thanks to Dan and several viewers, I learned that the key to not snapping the boards is in the wood selection. Instead of using African mahogany, I returned to a more straight-grained sapele lumber. To start, I planed a 1-inch thick rough cut board down to 5/8 of an inch, and then I squared one edge using track saw. Then I used the table saw to rip 3 1.5-inch wide strips. I rounded off the inside edge of each batten on the router. And then I split the forwardmost 7 feet of the batten with a handsaw. While I now know this is not the best method, I used my jig and the plunge saw to cut the notches perpendicular to each frame. With this method, the notches still need to be shaped to the curvature of the boat. In my next video, when I install the remaining topside battens, I actually use battens over the top so that the circular saw shapes and cuts each notch as you go. It saves a lot of time. But for this batten, I'll continue with the shaping method that I had used before. Next, I dry fit the batten. And I use a flat board to check the depth and the angle of each of the notches. Which of course means that I have to iteratively shape and bevel the notches. I must say that I really like this clamping method that I learned from watching Dan and Andrew. I have this board just kind of placed in here but clamped parallel to the stem. And now I put this little shim in here. That's exactly the thickness of this batten. And I run it parallel right there. And that is where I cut this. But I put this shim in and it tells me exactly where to cut the topside batten. Of course, I then forgot to film the actual cutting of the batten to meet the stem. Here I'm showing putting unthickened and thickened epoxy in the split and then doing the same with each of the notches. On this port side, I started with the front of the boat and worked my way back. I do not recommend this, and for all the remaining battens, I will start at the aft end and work my way forward. Starting in the aft end, I feel you get a better curvature of the batten as you put everything together. Another mistake was bonding the scarf joint while the wood was curved onto the boat already. This made it very difficult to get a nice smooth joint. In the future, I will bond the scarf joints when the boards are flat and on the floor. My main purpose of this video was to show that the 5/8 inch thick battens could bend around the front of the boat as long as you use the right species of wood. For now, let's look at the finished portside batten, and we'll use all of these learnings to finish the remaining battens on both sides of the boat. Till then, cheers.